What's going on, guys? Charles Weinraub, AKA the Handsome Homebuyer, and on today's podcast, we have episode 2 of Creating a Top Agent with Amanda Palmeri, JB Bolvedin, and Dan O'Neill. Yeah, kid, welcome back to another episode of the Handsome Homebuyer podcast. My name is Charles, AKA the Handsome Homebuyer, AKA Captain Permit, AKA
El Judío Maravilloso.
Thank you for picking up the slack, sir. I appreciate it. We are back. We were discussing life is fucking awesome. Is life not awesome?
It's amazing.
I love life. I love you guys.
We love you too.
2021 is the year that we take over real estate.
Agreed.
Oh, it's already happening.
Agreed?
Yes.
50 houses.
50 houses.
World domination. Realtor domination.
Yep.
Production, TV, damn near everything domination over
Training.
there. So, we have Amanda Palmeri here.
Yes. Hello.
During our Creating a Top Realtor 12-month series. We're in month number 2. So we're here. We have our expert team of
Dan O'Neill of the O'Neill team at Signature Premier Properties.
JB Bolvedin, founder and CEO of Total Success Solutions.
Handsome Homebuyer. If you have a house that smells like cat pee, is dated from the 1960s, land, commercial property. You know the drill. You know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm quick. I'm easy. I'm a good time.
I'm all cash.
Captain Permit.
No.
516.
Fuck. I want to buy it. 516-777-SOLD. We can't forget about the captain before we dive into this. The captain, the man, Captain Permit. 516-513-883. If you need plans, permits, anything permit related. If you had a permit issue, who'd you call?
Captain Permit, Handsome Homebuyer? Or is it Captain Permit?
Just Captain.
Okay. Captain Permit.
All right. So, month 2, we're going to see where we are, talk about what went on, what the highs, the lows, the struggles, the successes, how we're doing with our plan of what's the goal for the year?
50 houses.
Let's talk about goals for a second. Goal setting. I think nobody better to talk about goal setting than the professor himself, JB Bolvedin.
All right, so
Professor.
all right, so I mean, the most important thing is when you set a goal. Is a lot of people say it's got to be something that you can attain.
Tangible, yeah.
I think that anything is attainable. It just really is you got to look at your work ethic and what's in the tank and how what are you really willing to do for it. I think that kind of goes back to our first episode. I think I don't know if you remember, Charles was like, hey, so what are you willing to do for success? Like, are you willing to miss every single dinner with your family for the rest of the year? It's okay if you say, no, I'm not willing to do that, but then we have to change the goal, right? So the goals need commitment. So when you're determining what your goal is, you have to look at what are you willing to commit, sacrifice, and what are you willing to change? Because the you now can't accomplish it. You have to become someone else, or how far you're willing to go into that. So when we evaluate your goal, let's evaluate basically your risk tolerance, your pain threshold, and then go off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it really is. Like, you know, so with that being said, I guess the best way to determine a goal, if we should evaluate it or not, is for you to get 50 deals in your first year is very possible, and it's been done.
Right.
The amount of lead generation that you're going to be doing is going to be very significant, because what you have to do in your first step is called a non-existence formula. Nobody knows you exist. So you have to get a non-existence with everyone around you. Now, here's what people don't realize. The next step after you get a non-existence is everyone around you won't be interested. And that's what scares everyone. Here's the best thing though. Your goal when you walk into a room should be everyone in this room by the time I walk out here should at least be not interested in me.
Right.
Because not interested is a level of interest.
I like that.
And it's a big difference, about 10,000% increase. I'll give you an example. No fuel, low fuel. Sounds familiar. It sounds similar, right?
Right.
I've never gotten anywhere with no fuel before, but I've gone to a lot of places on low fuel. So it has much bigger difference operational capacity. So your goal is to be very loud right now and to get a lot of attention if you really want these 50 deals, because you have to work like you're trying to get 500 to get to 50.
Exactly, yeah.
So do you believe that this past month you've worked towards 500 deals?
I think I'm definitely putting myself out there. I eat, sleep, and breathe it, I would say. This has been my main focus. So I've seen growth even on social media. I'm putting myself out there in video. And people have reached out to me just from me pressing into their mind that I do real estate. I think we talked about lead generation. One of the things I did was go on Facebook because I have like over 2,000 friends. And he was like, why don't you reach out to every single person in your contact list, which I did, just to kind of plant the seed that I'm in real estate. And a lot of people said, oh, I saw your video or your pictures. And they're starting to associate Amanda Palmeri with real estate. So that's my main goal right now, is just putting myself out there.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. I'm curious to know on the real estate sales side, because I see it on the investing side, right? How much time and effort? So you know how you just like you beat on something, you beat on something, you beat on something. You're like, you don't get anywhere. And all of a sudden it like starts to move. And then all of a sudden it's like madness, right? So you giving 180% like you do all the time. How long you've been in real estate for what, 3 years?
Coming up on 3 years in a few months, yeah.
Yeah, which is amazing.
That really is.
How long were you beating that drum without anybody listening until all of a sudden you started to get like traction?
I mean, it was definitely six months, a year. You know, I mean, I was very successful. I was very fortunate in the beginning to have success, right? And I was able to do deals right from the start, which a lot of people struggle with just because this is an incredibly difficult business to get into. But I was just creative, and I just had outside the box ideas that got me business and that made people think that I was selling what I'm selling now when I wasn't. And everywhere I went, you know, every night I would go to Insignia, I would order a club soda with a lime, so people thought I was drinking a vodka, you know, a Grey Goose drink, right? And I would order, they had like a special menu. They had, it's like I guess like a little lollipop lamb, but it was on a special menu, so it was only like $18. So I would literally get these 3 little puny, you know, lambs things and a vodka soda. So I was out of there for $25, and I would literally go around the bar and I would introduce myself and I would give people my card, or the people that were sitting at the tables. I would just say, hey, my name is Dan. You know, I'm local. I live 5 minutes away. I work for Coldwell Banker, one of the number 1 companies. Blah blah blah. If you're looking to buy or sell, just let me know. Have a great night. I would leave. And by doing that a couple times a week, also I would go to Outback for lunch right in between appointments, and I would do the same thing. I was just handing out cards everywhere I went. I would meet everybody. Hey, bartender behind the bar. Hey, what's your number? Yeah, you know, share contact, whatever. So I was literally just giving my contact to everybody and also taking everybody's number, because if you leave a good impression with somebody, you know, that bartender or that person at the bar, they're going to remember you, and they might even call you. So the amount of people that started calling me from that, maybe they didn't have anything to sell, but they were like, hey, listen, you seem like you are just so hungry for business. My cousin's looking to sell his house at 123 Main Street. I want you to give him a call. It was really nice to meet you, man. I hope to see you soon. Damn, I just got a lead, you know? And then it started to happen more and more and more. And I would literally leave Insignia and go to McDonald's and get dinner. And my dad can attest to that story. I would literally leave Insignia so hungry because I didn't have any money to actually buy food there. I would go to McDonald's, but it was just the act of doing it those couple times a week or for lunch at Outback, whatever it might have been. So in the beginning, I definitely struggled for the first 6 months to a year, but like every day, every night, I was doing something to get business.
Bro, right. Levy, save this clip. That was the dopest thing I've heard all year, for sure.
That was awesome.
That's how I met Mike Murphy. Ask Mike Murphy. And Chris Crenzia, whatever. But I met Mike Murphy that way too. I recognized him. Mike Murphy is the number 1 commercial, agent, right? He heads the Element division. He's sitting there with his family, which I guess maybe it was rude, honestly. But I'm sitting there with my club soda. No,
it made an impression because I hung out with him right after that, and he's like, "Yo, Dan O'Neill," because he knew that you and I were cool, and he's like, this kid's awesome. He just came up to me, do some stuff, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was a great thing.
And I was sitting at Insignia by myself with a club soda, and he was there with his family celebrating some birthday, and I went up and introduced myself. And now I have a relationship with Mike.
So, and I want to ask you about this also. So I was honored and privileged to, and I want you to talk about the show real quick also.
The Real Estate Protege?
Yeah, so I was privileged to be on the Real Estate Protege, which is going to be dropping shortly. And I learned a ton from that, from being there for like 4 hours or 3 hours, whatever I was. I'm like, I learned a ton from you and from Brian. And the one thing that really he talked about was just the amount of cold approaches. I'll say cold approaches that he's done in his life. So, which comes from calling everybody in your contact list, just cold calling expireds like crazy, door knocking, doing what you're talking about, which is just approaching people 24/7. How much cold approaching have you done, period, in your career? Like we're talking about, and then how is it kind of broken up? Like door knocking, cold calling, that kind of stuff?
Right. So, I mean, you had a kid on your podcast right before I met you, Tyler Hurd, whatever his name is. He did like 300
calls the world.
Yeah, like that.
Just calls everybody.
I will never pretend that I ever did anything like that, but I swear to God, when I would come into the office every day for my first 6 months, I would call every single for sale by owner. I would call every single expired I could get my hands on. My dad, again, will attest to this. It was freezing cold in February, March, and I was door knocking with gloves on, and I was freezing my ass off, but I was doing it to get business. Now I don't do it as much, and I'm not in the habit as much as I used to be just because of time management, but I still do it, but it's not at the level that I did when I first got in the business, because when you first get in the business, who's handing you a listing? Who's giving you a lead? Nobody. You have to get it yourself.
I was basically doing the same thing as you, in the sense that at the very beginning, I would have my investment criteria and business cards, and I would go to every open house on the weekend and say, "Hi, my name's Charles. I'm the Handsome Homebuyer." They're like, "You're not fucking that good looking." I'm like, "Hi, yeah, but you're gonna remember me."
Right.
And I'm looking to buy houses, by the way, and I would hand them all out. I don't do that anymore because time management. But
Right.
that's like where you have to start with those interactions, because building the relationships is like the most important thing.
And you still like, so that the interactions and the building of the relationships is stuff that we all do now every single day anyway. So if you go out to Midori for lunch right now, you should be tell the bartender what business you're in, give them a card. You're sitting next to somebody, give them your whatever it is. The amount of innocent relationships that I've made and leads that I've gotten by just sitting somewhere eating or talking that I'm in real estate is bananas. And you would never expect it that this person right here has 2 houses to sell in Florida. Or hey, actually, you know what? I own a hedge fund and I have a $10 million house in Watermill. How's your sushi? Mine's good. It's going to be a lot better now, So you don't know who you're sitting next to.
100%. And that brings it back to what the non-existent formula is that's what it is. It's a major push. All right. So it's kind of like, I think when some people first start, they put out a beacon and it kind of lets them like, hey, I do real estate. Beacons aren't strong enough because what you have to do is there's no magnetic yet. You're not like right now, these guys they're magnetic now, which means that like people are calling them, and there's a lot of people that do take their call that wouldn't a few years ago. I mean, the same thing happened when I first opened up my business. There's a lot of companies that wouldn't take my call. Now they all call me. And it happens because you have to constantly keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the biggest piece of getting started in it. Because if you're going to hit the 50 deals, you're going to have to probably turn up a lot more. Because I think a lot of people look at it like this. And this is not to invalidate everything you've done because you've come a long way since last month.
Oh, absolutely.
The reason why I'm saying turn up more is because I think sometimes someone looks at their business and they go, okay, I've come a long way from where I was.
And then they stop. They hit like a plateau. Right.
But the thing is that where you were was still not where that needed to be. So even though you've come a long way, you got to go further. Like in the Real Estate Protege, there were contestants that literally broke way past their barrier. One guy got a listing in front of us and he still got cut. Oh. Because it wasn't enough to get to where he needed to go, even though he's individually enough.
Just so people that are listening out there in Radio Land, explain what the Real Estate Protege is, when it's airing, because it was awesome.
So the Real Estate Protege is the ultimate job interview ever in the real estate industry, where 8 contestants competed for an opportunity to become Brian Karp, one of the largest real estate agents in New York, has one of the highest volumes, protege, where they'll be working under him, and it's definitely a 6-figure opportunity, and maybe one day it'll become a 7-figure opportunity for that person. So over the course of 4 days, they were run from 4 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. Essentially no breaks, pushed way past their comfort zone. They were tested emotionally, sales-wise, ability to work in teams independently, their physical toughness, everything was put together. And to see who really, really can do it, because when you create an environment like that, you can't fake it.
That was one of the coolest experiences, I think, in my real estate career.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. In fact, you guys will find out how this happened. The broken ankle from the Real Estate Protege. So it's everyone got hurt, man.
Even Did they determine a winner for that yet, or
the whole show's done now? Okay. So it premieres the 19th. So on the 19th, episode 1 drops, and we're going to drop an episode a day. So the 22nd will be the finale, where you guys will find out who actually won this thing. But you'll see it's like the ultimate test. So it's amazing. I think everyone learned a lot, and a lot of people left very, very, very different than when they came in.
Absolutely. I learned
even I think both of us too.
I learned a ton there just from in the 2 hours. Like I called her up and I'm like, listen, I just learned this. You got to do this, and this is sick.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. I called my team. I'm like, listen, this is what,
call every person in your phone and say hi.
But you know how cool of an experience that was for me, from thinking back when I got my license, whatever it is, like coming up on 3 years now. When I first got my license, I would have killed to have had that opportunity to be with Karp, right? And I've looked up to him for quite some time now. And to build a relationship with him over these last couple months has been really surreal, because the story of when I first got my license and I tried to meet with him and he was so busy, he didn't give me the time of day, so I didn't like him, and now I'm
now you're on his show.
Now I'm on a show, right? And like now I'm a judge on his show to build out his team.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And he's looking for me for advice. It was to sit there and work side by side with him all day too while we were doing the show. Truly was like one of the coolest experiences in my real estate career. Yeah. And the show is going to be hilarious, dramatic, and I've been bragging about it. It's not even my own show. I'm so excited.
It's all real. None of it was like literally everything was real. There was not one added piece of, like, it just all came together.
So there's a boardroom, right? So it's basically like Celebrity Apprentice. And Charles and I were on one of the days as the, like celebrity. We're not celebrities by any means. We're
You guys are in space though.
G list,
Triple Z.
triple Z list, by any means, but it's Celebrity Apprentice. So we were supposed to be the quote unquote celebrity judges, but Charles and I were sitting there, and you and Brian were taking it so serious. And like, of course, it's a serious show, but I'm looking at Charles. He's smiling, like we're both trying to hold in our laughs, and it was just, I can't wait to see it, man. It really was one of the funniest experiences and the best experience of my life.
I'm proud of you, man. You did a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys being a part
That's
of it.
awesome.
So I want to get your general feedback. So it's been a month.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what you're feeling. Like, I guess let's start there. What have you been experiencing? What are you feeling? What are the things that you're happy about? What are the things that you're not happy about? What are the things you feel like you have to overcome?
I would say going off of what we were just talking about, is my social media outreach and just the videos, and really focusing on, just content every day. And I've seen a lot of feedback. I've seen a lot of growth in terms of following, people reaching out to me. And I would say what I'm still working on is just the lead generation, and kind of how to do that I'm not going to say the beloved word, the C word,
I don't know.
COVID.
Oh, yeah, no more COVID.
Just
no more COVID
figuring
excuses.
out how to navigate, the methods of reaching out to people.
So I think it's like every business is the same. Doesn't matter if you're selling real estate, investments, coaching, whatever. There's multiple tiers of lead generation, and you have to essentially work up to do all of them if you want to do a lot of volume of business. But you start with like a core group of like 3. So social media is great. That's awesome. It's a must, but it can't be the only thing.
Right.
So what else are you doing outside of the social media stuff on a consistent basis to bring in business so far?
I would say networking, reaching out, like I said, on Facebook. Wherever I go, I make sure that I'm either sending my e-card to people, striking up conversation that I am in real estate.
What specific networking? What do you mean, so I can understand it better?
I mean, I leave my business cards wherever I go, and I have gotten a couple calls from that, and just networking with people and starting conversations, I would say.
And this is like, we're not, and if you haven't done it, it's cool to say it. We're not like beating on you. We're trying to like get to the root of it. So like when JB's saying, you got dinner, like last night you went out to dinner, Douglas Element team. Are you introducing yourself to people at the bar like Dan was doing? Like, are you, when you meet, when you're out with family, when you're out with friends, like how are you going about doing this?
I mean, last night I didn't go up to the bar, but I'm passing my business card out to everyone. I don't know. I mean,
you and I had talked about the My Downtown series, which you did a TikTok video, which came out really cool. I like that.
Yeah, that was
thank
awesome.
you.
That was Good job.
Thank you.
But and we encourage, like, I mean, I think that's a cool thing for any realtor to do. A lot of the people that are really high achievers, I've seen they start kind of like at a home base and then branch out from there, and they become like the expert.
Yeah.
Like another thing that I learned from Brian during that whole thing is, he wanted to be the number one realtor in, I think it was it Sayville or Setauket or something like that.
Yeah.
So he researched the number one realtor and he said, how many transactions have they done? And it's like 7. He's like, oh, so all I have to do is sell 8 houses this year and I'm the number one realtor. And then he could say he's the number one realtor. And then perception is reality.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, to do like a series like My Downtown, and then meet the people that are in there, and meet the local business professionals and do reviews and get creative and just kind of promote a specific area.
Yeah, that's my next goal, I think, spinning off of that. And I find it hard sometimes because I need people to film these videos of me. So my next goal is to go into the town of Sayville and just hit the businesses, and kind of do like a local highlight. But I run into the issue of like, who's going to film this video, or how do I set it up?
Ring light tripod. That's all. And you can buy a lavalier. It's like $23 on Amazon. You can hook it right up. Hooks right up to your phone, and you're good to go.
I mean, you could ask a friend. You could ask anyone in your office. I mean, you could even spend the money and hire somebody to come and help if you need.
What's that thing that?
The selfie stick.
No, what's that thing you have? Gimbal. Yeah.
Okay.
I have one. I don't know how to use it. He films me. I'll give it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
You just hold it out like this and boom.
Okay.
I think people really overthink content creation at the beginning, especially. Just do it. Hold your phone out. Boom. Having content that isn't perfectly edited is better than not having any content at all.
Agreed. Absolutely. Yeah.
What do you guys think as far as like other means of lead gen outside of the social media stuff?
I mean, look, there's going to have to be flyer distribution. There's going to have to be cold
Well,
calling.
I do direct mail too. I know you said that takes like 7 or 8 times to hit.
Yeah, I mean, and it's very the conversion rate is very predictable, but it's also very low. And it's like, if you're not doing a lot of deals, I think the time and money, in my opinion, is better spent somewhere else.
Right.
Now, in a flyer situation of going to somebody's house, putting it there, knocking on the door and talking to them in conjunction, that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, what I would do is I would get your brand, get a jacket made up, and I'd be walking. I would do an hour and a half a day in the neighborhoods I want, and I'd be putting those flyers in everyone's door jam.
Okay.
Because you'd be meeting like several new people. In fact, I mean, we did it. We did it with Carp on the show, and we got a listing lead in about 13 minutes.
Wow.
You know, so it was like literally the first like row of houses we hit. So, but the thing is that what's got to happen is that, like, I think what's going to really have to turn up is like the physical activity now.
Right. The door knocking and everything.
Because I think what you're doing on social media is great, but that takes more time than cold calling. What you don't realize is that, like, Dan, how many posts do you have on your Instagram right now?
Archived a lot of them, but I'd probably say like 65.
60, but how many have you done? Let's say?
I mean, there'd be thousands,
right? So like to get to like that, where now people are just like, it's a machine.
Right.
It doesn't happen right away.
Yeah.
But it's a very valuable investment. So I think what's going to start to happen now is that so here's the thing about, I'm going to talk about this COVID cold calling again. You need to just decide what's more important, because I can promise you right now, and this may be a little controversial. And once again, I'm
cold calling.
Yeah, like just cold call. I mean, it really is. The bottom line is this: like, any agent right now that's saying don't cold call, never cold call. And like I said in the last episode, if you're an agent and you're upset, it's probably because I'm talking to you. So, the bottom line is they want to justify not being able to lead generate. You never want to make that an excuse. And on top of that too, like, circle prospecting is a major one to do. Like, have you seen the Terminator, the movie?
No.
Okay.
Circle prospecting?
Circle.
What's that?
So circle prospecting is, let's say a property just sold. You would call all the houses around that property that just sold.
Oh yeah. Yes, I've heard of that.
And see if they're interested in selling. And so the way that works is I call it the Terminator glasses. So if you ever seen the Terminator, when he looks at someone, he can see all their profile and everything about them. Imagine if you could wear those glasses and you would walk in a grocery store, like, looking to buy in the next month,
right?
Looking to
like
sell, retiring, like this and that. That would make you billions of dollars, right? But since we don't have that power, what we do is we implement circle prospecting instead. You need people to know who you are. So if you hit a neighborhood every single day and they see you, that's what you should do. And if you want to make content doing that. I'm putting out flyers in this neighborhood. Why? Because there's 1 million buyers and millions of dollars that are going to transact in the next month, and I'm going to be the one to help everyone do it.
Right. Yeah,
You know,
I think the face-to-face, that's something I haven't really touched on yet, because of the misconception that I can't. But I am going to start with expireds. And
what about working like you and I had a conversation about working the open houses, like call every agent in your office, send out a mass email blast every office.
Yeah,
I will work your open
I
houses.
signs yet. No.
Did you order them?
No.
Why?
Not yet. I actually was waiting because I think, well, this is a good question. Would you recommend putting your picture on the signs or no?
Yes. Why would you not put your picture
I mean,
on?
for a girl, it's different. I want to put the pictures on, but I'm thinking, am I going to get serious people, or am I going to get creepy people?
You get both. Most of the time,
Well, no, you will definitely get both, but I mean, it's branding. Like, it's your, unfortunately, that's a society that we live in, and I can't relate because I'm not, a female, but, if you wanted to put your office number maybe, or whatever it may be, but you have to get your signs, number one. Like, that should be, you should text your manager like right now and get your signs. And two, your face has to be on because it's all branding. The more people that see your face, the more people that see your last name. Like Carp, for prime example, his bald head is everywhere. Like, it's on his car, it's on all of his signs. You can't drive down a street without seeing it. It's on his cookies at closing table, but that's what it is. So
he sent me cookies with his face on.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
every closing. But that's branding.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like omnipresence, right? I think I learned that from you.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a bunch of deals with somebody now and struck up an awesome relationship with this person because I put signs on the lawn, and she was just driving through a neighborhood, and she's like, "Oh, who's this guy?"
Right.
Calls me up. We're like super tight, doing a ton of stuff together, helping each other out.
That's awesome.
You have to be everywhere.
What about the clients that were the people that call you that say, enough of this guy. I saw him on TV, then I saw him here, then I went to Dunkin' Donuts and I saw his stupid sign.
You're not good looking.
Right.
You're not good looking.
But guess what? Then they sold you their house. So it's the fact that they saw you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But if they don't, and they just see another Douglas Elliman sign, who do they call? They don't know that it's your listing.
Right.
The more that your signs are out, like another thing that we do or that I did was, I didn't even have open houses some weekends, and I would go out to like really busy roads where I grew up, and I would put 5 signs out, and I would put Valentine's Day balloons. I would put Despicable Me balloons, right? The big yellow ones. I would put these crazy balloons out with my sign in an area where I didn't have a listing or an open house, and I would leave it there the entire weekend, and then I'd pick it up on Monday. So I'd be at a family party, I'd be out, people be like, dude, I saw your signs, man. You're everywhere. You're killing it. I didn't even have a listing. I didn't even have an open house, but my signs were out.
Perception is reality.
Absolutely. Here's I'm gonna help you make your decisions really easy. You want like the cheat code to decisions?
Yes.
When business, if you're trying to make a decision, this is how you decide if you should do it or not. If it's not illegal and it's not unethical,
Do it.
yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
We talked about the possibility of a podcast concept.
Yes.
Thoughts on that? Has there been any execution? Has there been any movement?
I feel like
Be direct.
there's so many things that it's like overwhelming when you first start. There's social media and this and that. So I didn't want to take on something additional until I like focused on one thing. So, and you're going to tell me that a podcast is like a door to open a million other possibilities.
100%.
But no, I didn't jump on that because I'm like, I feel like there's other things I have to focus on.
Okay.
But I'm not opposed to it. And we did talk about an idea that we had.
So my thing with you is this. Mm-hmm. You need to stop thinking.
Okay.
As like insane as that sounds, you just need massive action.
Mm-hmm.
Zero thinking. There's nothing that you're going to do that's going to be detrimental to you, your brand, anything.
Except not doing it. Yeah. The only thing that's detrimental to your brand right now is not having signs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the people that are
I'm
successful
mind-blown.
just
I'm like angry.
Just oh, you don't want to see him angry.
No, I really I'm frustrated. That's frustrating. Like I totally understand, like, being worried about having your face on it, right?
I'm going to order them.
I want you to literally text your manager like right now and be like,
I
yo,
order
what?
them. I order them.
This is an uncomfortable podcast, right? But I want you to sit.
Yeah.
I want you to sit in this uncomfortable moment, right? Because from uncomfortable moments breed
Good things.
amazing results, right? So it's cool that you're gonna be like, in month 10, you're gonna be like, you know what? I've did a whole bunch of deals. Let's go back to episode 2 where you guys were like really riding me hard.
Ripping me.
And thank you for doing that. But you have a huge opportunity with what's going on. You have to take action.
Right.
You do. And everything you say is an excuse. That's it. Like there is no real rational anything that you're gonna say to me that is making me be like, you know what? I get it. No.
So you have to treat everything as like, especially for us as agents, I think one of the biggest things that helped me going from X to Y deals in business was stop treating it as if like I'm just a real estate agent and treating it as if it were my own company and my own brand, like a Walmart or like a Target, right? Or like the Scotto brothers who own all the nice restaurants, whatever it is, like stop treating it as if you're just a real estate agent and pretend as if you're a big company with a big brand. Like, would Walmart not have signs anywhere?
Well, when you say signs, like signs with your face on it?
I want you to have a billboard. You should have a private jet, or not a private jet, a helicopter fly around with your face on it. The more that your face is out there, the more people are going to recognize you, the more that you're going to become the go-to person. But if they don't see you anywhere and they just see you on social media, your sphere of influence, no one else is going to see you. No one's going to really know what you're doing. And I don't mean to harp on the sign thing, but it's just,
No, I get it.
it's the mindset of like,
I'm asking, like, what type of sign are you talking about? Like,
you should have riders. So when you do start getting listings, which you're going to, your sign, it says Douglas Elliman. As I break this mic, it says Douglas Elliman, and then underneath it will have your face, your name, your number, right? So that way you get sign calls, and then you should have all of your open house signs. So every weekend, whether you have an open house or not, you should be going out and putting them on corners with balloons. So people will see that you're doing it. And then they're going to call you and say, hey, I saw your sign was here, but there's no house. Oh, well, which house, where are you looking? We're in Sayville right now and we're looking for 500. Oh, well, actually there's bop. You guys want to go, you want to see them? I can get you in. There's no open house, but I can get you in. There's a lead.
So I want you to say this after me. Repeat this after me.
Okay.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Again.
Whatever it takes.
I need you to internalize, that. It's literally like my buddy who invented the 3D printer that I did that video on, who's the man, 4 years, millions of dollars bleeding out of his pocket, and he's going to change the world. And whatever came up, he just said to me, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And the people that are successful in life do whatever it takes. So as a person, I think you're great. I think you have a lot of potential as a business person. No, listen, but you have to jump on the opportunity that you have, right? So like, I'm tough loving you right now. So we're 2 episodes in, right?
Yes.
This is a 12-month commitment. We're gonna do 2 more episodes. I want to see movement from you.
Okay.
To go from episode 5 to 12.
Okay.
And listen, with that said, I have total confidence in you that you could do this. I would not
I
be
do
sitting
too.
here
I
with
do
you
too.
wasting, like, I would not. But we have to push you to take
When was
more
our
action
last?
than
Our
you do
last
now.
one was December 30th. Was that was our last podcast, right?
Was it? I don't
Yeah,
recall
I think
the
it was.
exact.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
I
it?
don't
think
even
it
know what
was.
today is.
So now that we've gotten through that, let's put together a plan for what's going to happen in the next 30 days.
All right. What time do you wake up in the morning?
7.
Okay, that's too late.
Too late?
Yeah. We're gonna have to get up earlier than that. So 5 a.m. is when you're gonna make all your flyers. You're gonna figure out exactly what neighborhoods.
I want
you're
a
gonna
text
hit,
message at 5
get the
a.m.
list to go. Wake up at 5. You gotta beat the sun up because while everyone else is like basically by the time it's lunchtime for you, you've already worked a full day. While the agents are still complaining about
Hold on.
I still gotta do this thing later.
I'm putting together a group text right now of all 4 of us. Every 5 a.m. Monday
5
through Friday, I want a text message at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
5 a.m.
5 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah, you're up at
Okay.
5.
Wait, what do we say?
Whatever it takes.
Right. So 5 a.m. you're up in the morning. Why? Because
Do
you
me a
want to
favor,
go.
don't if you guys text me at 5 a.m., whatever it
you
takes, and
too.
that's when I open my eyes to, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be not happy.
So the reason why you're waking up at 5 is you want to beat the sun up and build up that discipline because all the personal stuff you do in your life, all the errands, whatever else is going to be just totally knocked out of the way. Next thing is you're going to build your list and you're going to write a handwritten note, which I'll talk about with you exactly how to write and what you should say. And you're going to make 100 copies of that at least and do that. You're going to make 100 cold calls a day. Circle prospecting. We're going to start there first. We're actually hitting the other neighborhoods.
Okay.
So you're going to do the 2. So here's what do the 2 means. 100 calls, 100 houses. That's 200. And if you don't get 2 appointments from that, you keep going till you get 2 appointments. Because you want to get 2 appointments a day. Why? Because that's what's really going to take to build and stack this listing. That's why I asked you earlier, we got to see where the limitations are before, like if the goal is 50, we need to really start stacking now and really start pushing through.
So literally what I'm doing right now is I just sent the text message. I'm sending the email chain. You have access to the 3 of us. You have no excuses. How many calls have you had with Dan in the last 2 months?
None.
How many calls have you had with JB in the last 2 months? How many calls have you initiated with me over the last 2 months? We've had a lot of conversations,
Yeah.
but I'm like,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah. I think I've initiated it. No?
You should be talking to each of us at least once a week with targeted questions of what you want to do, saying, this is my goal, this is where I'm going to be. Like, you need to get organized.
Okay.
I would start reaching out to, Element has a really good core group of young agents that are our age. They have like their rising stars, right? So maybe you start reaching out to some of them, asking them to go get dinner, picking their brain, masterminding with them. YPN in general, you should definitely go online and join the YPN and you can see some of its members and you can reach out to them for advice or help or just to get together, even if it's just a 30-minute coffee, something, Beth Lowe, whoever. I think that would really help. And I think that you need to get signs.
I'm doing that tonight.
Yeah.
I just, you don't have to text, but get signs. Like that's bare minimum.
So let's all right, let's put together, I started the email chain, I started the text chain. 5 a.m., whatever it takes text messages.
5
right?
a.m.
5 a.m.
Now, let's put together, so as to not be overwhelming, we're going to put together 3 action item things that we need to have done by, what's today, Friday?
Today's Friday.
By next Wednesday.
Okay.
All right, everybody want to pick a thing?
Sure. I want listing appointments. By that I mean there's got to be we know from the activity that there'll be appointments. So by next Friday, you should probably have at least 4 appointments lined up. So I would work the sphere, and I would also work your cold calling. And anyone that you're around, if it's not real to them that these things happen, you need to literally delete them from your contacts.
Okay.
You want to make sure you're doing that. That's going to be a major appointments is everything. If people aren't getting in front of you, how are you going to close them?
Right.
So let's really dial that down.
Sure.
Let's really get granular on that. So
Okay.
if we're looking, so is that make 100 calls a day? What is the actionable?
So yeah, the actionable thing is we want. Then this is the minimum requirement: 100 calls a day, 100 flyers a day. Yeah.
Okay.
That amounts to 3 hours or less. So what you're going to do with that is that's going to help you get in front of enough people to actually have something that would amount to this target. And if you have more time, I would do a lot more if necessary.
Okay.
You're up, kid.
I was just thinking about JB, not to sound weird. So my team is doing training with him, and like everything you say is like it's overwhelming. Like, oh my God, 100 flyers, 100 calls. But like you got my team to do that. Like they all went back after their training yesterday and they did exactly what you said. And they got listings. And not only did they get listings, they got listings at 6%, which a lot of agents right now are not doing. So like everything that you say and you preach, like you should take it as gospel. My thing for next week, right? I guess next Wednesday is to have your open house signs ordered and get them out and do an open house. Okay. Have you done an open house yet or no?
No.
That's my thing. Okay. Even if you don't even have your signs, do an open house this weekend, next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you should you could email blast everybody in Douglas Elliman. You have the ability. Do you guys have the do that?
You could do it to LIBOR. Like you could do it. You have access to 30,000 agents, but your company is massive. You could send it to your office, to Elliman in general, whatever it may be. Like you gotta do open houses.
And think about the amount of people you're going to come in contact with. You know, get a mask with your name, phone number on it. You know, get cheesy if you have to. Everybody that walks in the door, hi. If someone doesn't have an agent, agents that are in there, introduce yourself. Great, I'd love to work with you one day. Boom. You never know, because let's say there's an agent who comes out from like Queens and you hit it off with them. They'd be like, you know what, like, I'm just going to refer you my business. I don't even want to come out here. It is like, it's so far.
What about all the leads that come in too?
Exactly.
All of the leads that are just coming into the open house you
should cold call all of them as soon as, like, the next day. Boom. Hey, are you working with an agent? You need somebody? Like, what's going on?
Any feedback on the house? Is it, would you want to put an offer in? Did you like it? Did you not like it? There's so many, like, open houses is the easiest to start. It doesn't have to be your listing. It's the easiest place to start to get leads.
And this is like a two-pronged thing. So you're getting people's numbers to call, which is satisfying JB's requirement, and you're doing the open house and you're mingling with people. My thing is, you need a podcast by Wednesday. So by Wednesday, I want a name. Okay. I want a first guest. You're going to get StreamYard. I'm going to pay for it for a year. So I'm going to pay for it. So there's no excuse, right? I want a guest. I want a name. I want a theme. And that shit is happening.
Okay.
Next week.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
That's awesome. Believe it or not, when we were doing the real estate protege, we did more than that in a day. Everything that you have to do by next Wednesday, we were doing in one day. With that
Insane.
I'm not kidding. Like, and you'll see when we do it. So you'd be shocked what you're really capable of. The problem is that, like, I'll give you an example. Have you ever met like a little kid that goes, I'm not a people person, or I'm not good at this, but I'm good at that? They don't really talk that way.
No.
So everything that we're talking about for you is called a negative gain, which means that we're not giving you a new skill. We're restoring what you were when you were born. That's what it really is. Like, you were born that way, outgoing, unreasonable. You push, you get what you want. And then slowly over time, as you grow, people tell you, calm down, don't do this, don't do that, sit here, do this, do that. You're getting all negative gains now. We're just restoring you exactly where you were. So before you feel like you're getting out of your comfort zone, you've been living in your uncomfortable zone. We're putting you back in the zone you were born in. So look at it that way. You're about to go into an adventure. Enjoy it. Every single time you feel pain or fear, you're doing the right thing.
Right.
So just love it.
Very inspirational.
She's like, F you,
No.
Levy, you're cool, and F you, I'm out. Listen, uncomfortable moment, right?
Yes.
Sit in the uncomfortable moment.
Yeah.
Later on in life, hopefully you'll wish for the uncomfortable moments, because that's when really cool shit happens. This could be the moment, hopefully, that propels you to
forward,
where you want to go.
Yeah.
So I think that's enough tough love for the day.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think so.
So we know what we're gonna do, right?
Tough love?
We didn't come at you one time.
I don't think that's tough love at all. I think we're giving valid points. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's tough. We were tough. This tough love. Tough love, good.
That's what you consider tough love? You have a wooden
Charles
spoon
is a
here or
very
something,
loving
dude?
guy.
Like,
I mean, no, Jews don't hit their kids, bro. We don't do that shit, so I don't know.
We have wooden spoons.
So it's not over there.
I'm used to the wooden spoon.
We don't do that. So, all right, until next time, who do you got over there? And dude, hype yourself up, because and say what's gone on with you in the last couple months, because you hit some kind of crazy record, and you're downplaying it because that's who you are, but you're the fucking man.
Thank you.
And I'm so proud of you. You're like my little brother. I'm so impressed with what you're doing in less than 3 years.
Thank you.
And I think the world's got to know.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting towards being the number one team on the island. We have Ryan Serhant coming on our podcast, which is going to be a game changer for this week, which is really cool for the island and just real estate in general. So I'm really excited about that. was the youngest to have ever sold over 50 million in closed volume on the island, which JB fact-checked again, so we didn't spew any BS out. Not sure about the Hamptons, but for Nassau and Suffolk. So that was a really cool accomplishment. And, the team's crushing it, which is, to me, the biggest dopamine hit of it all. The fact that they're able to leave JB's training, go to this listing appointment, and get a 6% listing without me is amazing. And I also have finally... I'm going to do like The Rock. Finally, after 2 years of searching for a momager, an admin, a transaction coordinator, shout out to Susan Grasso, who started with me on Monday, who probably thinks she stepped in a world of shit, but she's helping out so much. So I'm finally getting my life back. I am the happiest person in this entire world, and I am going to crush 2021. So thank you for making me say that.
Thank you.
That's beautiful, dude.
JB, you're up, man.
Dude, I mean, it's been a hell of a journey. It's in 2 short years grew to the largest real estate consulting company on the East Coast. I'm consulting it's for the real estate professionals. I could tell you, I never thought I was going to produce all these TV shows and reality stuff. So
you're good at it, dude.
Thank you.
Killing it.
Thank you. But actually, you know what? You had a lot to do with that, bro. When we did the Long Island Real Estate Revolution, it just really turned up a lot more. So that was kind of cool that we were able to do a project that got 9,000 people.
Yeah, that was awesome.
To stay with us for 9 hours. That's insane.
60K in the middle of COVID, Joe.
Yeah, dude. When everyone's like, "Oh, you can't get anything out of it." I mean, it was amazing to see. So, I mean, I've gotten the privilege of working with a lot of great people, and it looks like hopefully it's going to go national soon. So that was really exciting. Can I add one thing?
Sure.
There was a time where I got criticized or coached. And it was really offensive, and I think it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I spoke at Nest Seekers Summit last year. Mm-hmm. So the owner calls me, the broker. He's like, "I saw your video. I have a question for you. Do you own anything nice?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Your outfit looks terrible. You dress like shit." And I'm like,
"Wow."
Jesus.
Oh my God.
What a dick.
No. This is what he says. He goes, "Dude, you're about to go and bring a good system, and you're dressing to entertain people that can't afford you, instead of dressing for the people that can afford you." He's like, "If you sharpen up, that's the way you should really present yourself." Literally, I took his advice, and then whenever I went out and did anything, I didn't dress like this. I dressed a lot better,
right?
And instantly, it helped me. And at that moment, for someone to tell you you don't look good, but he wasn't trying to hurt me, literally changed my life. Mm-hmm. It changed my life. It was really, really important. So sometimes when you hear something like, "Damn, I don't feel as good as I did right before you said something to me," the action you take afterwards makes a big difference,
right.
So he was looking to help me out. So I just wanted you to know that because,
I know. I thank you guys because I think now I have a fire under my ass a little bit. So.
I mean, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the next episode if you don't have your signs ordered.
Okay.
Count me out.
Okay.
That's a wrap.